Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Clare, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today we're exploring the power of clarity to make decisions with confidence. And we're going to explore this, of course, from a three principles perspective. The three principles is a really simple understanding of how the mind works, which, once understood, makes navigating life a heck of a lot easier than it might seem at the moment. It's been a life-changing experience for me coming to this understanding, and I think get a lot of my joy from helping other people to learn this understanding so that they too can navigate life with a bit more ease, so that they too can move from stressed, overwhelmed and anxious to feeling calm, having balance in their lives and experiencing more clarity. I think making decisions, which is the one half of the theme that I'm exploring this month, it's making decisions and problem solving, which I think often seem to come hand in hand, don't they? A lot of our problems seem to need a decision for them to be solved. So this month's exploration is around those two areas. And today, making decisions. And I speak to a lot of people who are stuck around how to make decisions. It can look like a thing to do. And I absolutely can relate to that, because I would have said that in the past, my decision-making process would have been a process. So it would have been meticulous, and it would have involved probably some kind of writing down of something and an analysis of things in order to try and make the right decision. And perhaps that's a place to start this exploration, really, the idea that there is a right decision and a wrong one. I'm noticing more and more in my life that where I think something has gone wrong, where I think I've made the wrong decision, literally maybe a few minutes later or a few hours later, or maybe in the next few days, I will see that decision was the best decision, actually, because the knock-on effects of that have made things turn out really, really beautifully, probably better than I thought they could have done when I made the initial decision. I think there's something about just trusting when we make a decision that we're going to be okay, whatever the outcome. We are going to be okay, whatever the outcome. No matter what happens as a result of our decision, we are going to be okay. There's a universe that's set up to make that so. We have the ability to bounce back. We are unbelievably resilient. So if something does go not the way you might like as a result of a decision, it really does generally turn out okay. I perhaps think it's a moment here to reflect on that yourself. Like, take a moment to think about the times in your life where things seem to go wrong. It looked like you've made a bad decision, etc. And actually the good things that have come out of that. So I don't think I particularly made a decision to burn out. Definitely not. But I certainly made some decisions, some poor decisions in terms of looking after myself and in terms of, the things I was doing in my life when, in the run up to burnout, the stress that I got myself into. There were definitely some poor, unhelpful, I suppose, or some decisions that were helpful in moving me towards burnout. Not helpful is probably not fundamental, I suppose, in moving me towards burnout. But really, the burnout that I experienced led to me being here now, talking to you, led me to meet my fiance, led me to all sorts of amazing experiences that I would not have had if I'd still been in my job in education. So I think there's some relief in knowing that there's a decision to be made about something in this present moment, and we really can't know what the future of that decision. We could make the decision that we think is absolutely right, and still it doesn't turn out how we want it to. So there's something then about connecting to our own wisdom, intuition, gut instinct, whatever you want to call it. Because I think in that space, in the present moment, there's an opportunity to find some, I think it's that connection to the present moment where when we're in a place of clarity, when we're in the present moment, the decision we make from a place of presence is so much more likely to be helpful than the decision we make from the future, as in that analysis I was talking about where we're trying to work out, well, if I do this, I think this is going to be the outcome, or this series of things is going to be the outcome. And in actual fact, you can't really know that. You've no idea what the outcome of a decision is going to be. Whereas when we make a decision from in this moment, and when we make a decision from our heart, gut, soul, present moment, intelligence, there's something in that speaks to truth for me. If it feels good now, if it feels sure-footed now, if it feels like the right next step, just the next step, that's all, then that to me seems to be a decision made from a place of peace. And I don't think really, when we really become aware of ourselves, I don't think we can make bad decisions from a place of peace. The opposite is true when we're not in a place of peace. If we are stressed out, if we're feeling urgent, if we're feeling anxious, the decisions we make from that place, there isn't a wrong decision, but they're going to be the less helpful ones, I think. Any decision that we're making with the future as part of that decision, that's going to be less helpful too. And I'm not saying that we don't need to kind of, choose a pension plan that's going to pay out well, says it's going to pay out well in the future so that we can have a nice retirement and things like that. That's not what I'm saying. But an awful lot of the decisions we make, we're making up a potential future for those decisions that is not helpful. So when I think about the power of clarity to make decisions with confidence, I think it's about seeing how powerful we are when we are clear-minded. That we've got so much more available to us in terms of connection to this energy of life, to the universe, to God, whatever you want to call it. So much more capacity for something new to come through. And I think this is where we can end up often we're kind of choosing between option A and option B, and we're, wrangling between the two. And actually, when we get quiet, I notice this in myself all the time. When there's quiet, option C comes through, fresh and new, something completely different to A and B. And that makes more sense. And that feels like truth. And it's something we can do right now from this present moment. Something we can do in the present moment. It's not something about what it's going to turn out like in the future. And I think that people might call it the connection to source. I think that is available to us when we're calm. When we're calm, when our minds are clear, when we are present, it is so much easier to come up with a great decision, to make a good decision. And to do it from a place of confidence. Confidence in our own intuition, in our own wisdom. Definitely confidence in that. Confidence in the universe to provide just what we need when we need it. Confidence that has us just take that next step. So once we've made a decision, of course, we've got a next step to take. And I think for me, one thing to really kind of bring some awareness to in terms of decision making is if your decision has something about it that you can do straight away. So even if it's putting the date in your diary or something like that, that sense of being able to take action from the present moment is really, really useful, I think. If it feels too far off in the future and too much future made up stuff, then it's probably not being done from a place of clarity. So just to conclude, because we're nearing the end of my usual runtime here, when we're feeling calm, when we're in a place of presence, we have access to real-time responsive intelligence, and that is the best place to make decisions from. And to also, to keep an open mind. It may not be that solution. It may not be A or B or C or D. It could be X, Y, or Z that are the best thing. And maybe X, Y, and Z are going to come from that calm inside you, that quiet. And noticing if a decision looks like it's got a lot of future wrapped around it. You'll feel that, because it'll probably feel anxiety-inducing or stressful. So hopefully that's been helpful in pointing you a bit more towards really the power of clarity to make decisions and to do that with confidence. So that's been my little 3 principles exploration of that issue. Hope you found that helpful. Thank you so much and take care. Lots of love. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Clare Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.